All right, welcome into another edition of Catching Up with Tommy Mack here on 1010XL's podcast platform at 1010XL.com, of course, on the 1010XL app. We are live on Facebook like we are each and every time, and that's spread all over the world, pretty much, on every podcast platform, social media, you name it. Gramish does a great job putting that all together. And, of course, we're right here in the 1010XL podcast studios, brought to you by Team Tommy Mack. Got a new member to announce this morning. Yeah, the team continues to stay strong. We got a lot to get into with the NFL draft less than 1 week away. All the news is the pre-draft press conference that went on yesterday, of which I did not attend. I don't attend any press conference. I don't really care what anybody has to say, to be honest with you. And I don't mean it so badly. I just mean, like, just show me, man. Show me. I'm tired of the talk. I don't want to hear anymore. I just want to be seen or be shown that you are a team to be reckoned with. We'll see how that shakes out. But a lot to get into, including Trevor's extension and all that means, and we're going to get into it. Let's welcome in Gramish, though. Before we do, good morning, my friend. How are you?
It's Friday.
It is Friday, man. I got a busy weekend. I got a real busy weekend. Dad Bod's playing tomorrow night at Iggy's Bar and Grill right there in Fruit Cove, where Route 13 meets Racetrack Road. We start at 7. Dance competition in Orange Park, and I mean deep in Orange Park. Almost, it's pretty far in. The Horn Thrasher Center. We've been there before. We go every other year pretty much. My youngest still competing. So she's got her solo tonight. We're all going to go check it out and cheer her on and go see her teammates as well. And they got a bunch of solos. I think I'm off tomorrow, so I don't have to be a part of that tomorrow. Maybe a drive-in or something like that. And then Sunday's a big day. All dance, all team dance. It's a lot of fun. And, of course, I will give the go out there and kick some ass speech to my daughter like I always do.
What time do you compete in the dance competition?
I don't compete in the dance competition.
Well, that's a shame.
No, but I am in the. We're having a dad's dance for the recital. So there's 16 of us. Good group of dads. We're having fun, laughing the whole time. We're trying. The kids watch. It's all for the kids, man.
16 dads.
It's all for the kids.
16 dads. Which means 32 hamstrings to be blown.
No, mine are limber. I'm good.
How many hamstrings stay intact?
Well, let me just tell you this. It's funny you bring that up. So the other night we're doing this the rehearsal, and you gotta do a step, hop, step. You know what I mean? They call it a ball and chain. Like you jump up a little bit, and trying to watch 50-year-old white dudes trying to get in rhythm. I was laughing my ass off. It was quite the comedy scene. But
step, hop, step.
Yeah. So you walk, hop, walk.
After the show, I'm going to go practice that in the park.
Yeah, I'll show you how to do it. It's pretty easy. You know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. But nonetheless, it'll be a great weekend. And hey, if you like live music, 70s, 80s, 90s, rock and roll covers, come check us out tomorrow night at Iggy's. Great day yesterday on the Horse's Mouth. I do want to mention the original Cat was on. Curtis DeVort, so that was cool. Brian Sexton's always on. We had 50 Cent's Sire Spirits. That's the name of his liquor company. One of his main executive salesmen. That's pretty cool. Like, you never know who's going to show up at the bar. You know what I mean? Guy named Andy, really cool dude. And he was saying, like, 50. He's like, I talk to 50 almost every day. And he's a cool dude. And
so you and Sexton and who else was there?
Well, there's one more I want to mention. John Chick, the former Jaguar defensive end, who's director of prison ministry for the Diocese of St. Augustine. He has, him and his wife, 11 kids.
Wow.
11. I was like, I got 3. Holy cow. 3 times 3. Oh, plus 1, plus
That's
2.
That's crazy.
Whew. That's a lot, but he's doing great. He looks great. He's in great shape. He's doing a lot of great work out there, but did want to thank everybody for coming out and checking out the Horse's Mouth on Sundays at noon on ABC 25. All right, NFL draft less than 1 week away next Thursday night. Look, I'm excited. I don't like, look, I didn't go to the press conference. This is why I don't go to press conferences. I don't care what they have to say. They got to say what they got to say. They're not going to tell you anything anyway, and that's just, the pre-draft one, in my opinion. Game day and all that. I see it on the film. I don't need to hear it from the coach. And one thing that I've always done, I hope this comes out the right way. It's hard, at least for me, and how I critique the team, to really get personal with any of the coaches or players. You know what I mean? Because I'm always going to be me when I critique the team. Whether you think I'm right or wrong, it's just my conviction of how I look at the team. And, I tried it before. Like, I became kind of we're friends. Jack Del Rio and I are friends. When I see Jack, I say hi, we talk, that kind of, I love Jack. I think he's great. Well, we became quasi friends while he was a coach here. Like, he came on a couple of my shows, yada, yada. Well, they weren't performing well. And, I'm ripping them not him, but I'm ripping the team one day. And because they just came off a terrible loss. I forget what it was. And he texted me. And he's like, oh, it's going to be like that, huh? And I was like, oh, man. So I called him in a break. I was like, Jack. He's like, man, why do you got to? I'm like, Jack, what do you want me to say? You guys were terrible. He goes, but you got to be so. And I'm like, Jack, it's just the way I talk. It's who I am. It's how I am. I don't take it so personal. It's not. I'm not trying to be. He's like, it's really hard to take. Not to. I said, okay, I get that. So I've always wanted a distance. I want success out of all of them. Players, coaches, staff, GMs, owners, all of it. I want this organization to be rocking. I want downtown to be rocking. I want the team to be rocking. I want a Super Bowl. I want it all because it's tremendous when you have success in this town as a Jaguar. We lived through it in the 90s, not Super Bowl success, but you know how special it is. We all know how special it is when this team wins. So I want that more than anything. But to really have a personal, because it's hard. It's hard to really give your 100% unbiased, no agenda critique when you have a relationship with the coach.
You can't.
A friendship with the coach, I should say. Sorry.
You're good. You can't be doing this show after a week that they lose and be, critiquing this, critiquing that, and getting after it, and then having Doug call you afterwards, be like, what the hell?
No, I wouldn't want that. I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings, but I'm not a shill. I'm not here to, sugarcoat. I'm here to look. By the way, nobody calls me when I rave about them in a positive light.
Right.
I don't ever get anything from that, which is more so than not. But I'm going to call it like I see it.
What I feel like would be and again, I know your larger point is you don't want to get too close and personal with these guys because of that reason. But I feel like what I would have thought to say to Jack would be like, well, man, when your certain players are screwing something up that you coached in them and you're getting after their ass and their response is, well, do you got to be so mean about it?
Right.
You'd be like, what the hell?
Yeah, right.
Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, it's the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, look, again, at the end of the day, I just shoot it straight and, hopefully I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings. I'm not. I try not to make it personal. I know sometimes it sounds personal. When I critique Cam or Walker or Trevor, it's not ever personal. It's just from a critique standpoint. That's it. That's it. Tough love critique. Take it or leave it. But I appreciate those that take it. So there you go. All right. So the press guy, look, I didn't go to I barely read what they said. I mean, the one thing that popped out is, one thing you never know. Smoke screen or truth. You know what I mean? Why are you laughing? You're about to laugh. Why are you laughing?
There was some rumors on Twitter that Trent Baalke farted during his press conference.
Oh, yeah. I didn't did you rehear it? Did he fart? Did it sound like a fart?
I think we'll have
I didn't replay it.
We'll have to get the instant replay after the show and kind of go
check it out.
When you said the one thing that came out, I just thought about Trent Baalke's fart.
Yeah. Well, hey, at a certain age, you can't control that thing. You know what I mean? We were in church once, and before it started. Now wait a minute, you're gonna laugh your ass off, and I swear by this. Totally swear. I know what it's like to fart in public. All right, I know what it's like. But we're in church. It hadn't started. It's
That's
all
the
quiet.
clip, by the way. No context.
Anyway, and I had some gas in my belly, and it sounded like I farted. And all my girls, like, they all look at me like, Dad, like, what did you just do? I'm like, no. I called it an internal fart. And they're like, they're like, there's no such thing. I'm like, I'm telling you right now, it did not come out as a fart. It was inside my belly. Anyway, nonetheless, there you go. See, Trent, we're just like each other, man. Just like, sometimes like it's gotta happen. Maybe it was an internal fart by Trent, not one of those that came out.
You do the whole, like, covered up with a cough afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so I want to get into look, again, I think a lot of it's smokescreen. When I hear, and I know people take this, so and I heard it or read it, so not in its entirety, but read it, where Trent said, yeah, you could find a starting tackle, offensive tackle in the 4th, 5th, or 6th rounds or something like that. Immediately people think, oh, well, they're not looking to tackle. You don't know what that means, in my opinion. You have no idea. And I'll tell you this, and we're going to get into it. Whether they extend Trevor or not before the year, but especially if they do, you got to do everything in your power to ensure protection. Am I wrong? Like,
no.
And I'm not just talking about this year. And you don't know what do you have this year? What do you have? You got Cam? Okay, look, you know how we feel about Cam, how I feel about Cam. When he's healthy, I love him. He's got the perfect attitude. He does get after people. He's pretty good. If not, well, I don't want to say really good at pass protection, but he's pretty solid in pass protection overall. Some games he dominates, some games he gives up a little, but at the end, he's solid. He could be my starting level. If I knew he was going to, I've said this before, if he was going to play 15 or more games in 2024, he's my guy. I got no problem with that. I don't know about the number or not. Whatever you do with the number, that's not my business. But you can't guarantee me that. You can't. You don't know. Maybe you get 10. Maybe you get 17. I mean, maybe Fountain of Youth doesn't get injured at all. All I know is this: as you get older, because I've been there, your body, little by little, starts breaking down. And if you've had injuries along the way, you're more susceptible to more injuries as you get up in age, 26, 27, 28, 29, what have you, as opposed to a rookie that, yeah, could he get hurt? Of course, anybody can get hurt. But the wear and tear on that body is way less than a 28-year-old left tackle. And Cam's not old. He's just played a lot of football. And he's had too many injuries. So you can't count on that. Then you go to Walker. Okay, look, you know how I feel about Walker. He's almost as he's as big, almost as athletic as Tony Baselli. He is. I've always said that. But there's something missing with him, or he would be a starting tackle on this team years ago. I like not just last year, like the year before. Like if they felt like, no, he's our guy, they would have let Cam walk. They wouldn't even have dealt with Cam. This is my guy, new GM. I got this kid out of Stanford, total stud before he got hurt. I think he can do it. Now he's ready. He's our guy. Second rounder. Has never happened.
They sure as hell wouldn't have drafted Anton.
No. Why do you don't need Anton. You've got Walker Little. So, and I'm not saying Walker doesn't have value. He does. Plug and play, be a swing, fine. You got 1 year left with him anyway. You don't even know if you're gonna redo that. So to me, especially with Trevor, protect him at all costs.
Walker,
that's my opinion.
Walker Little, in my opinion, is extremely valuable.
Yeah.
Because having a backup tackle you feel really comfortable with is really, really valuable.
Yep.
It's not what he was drafted to be.
Yeah. No, right.
He was drafted
to be a starter.
To be
the left tackle.
To be bookend, stalwart.
Listen, the only reason he wasn't a first-round pick is because of the injury. That's the only reason. He would have been a first-rounder if he didn't get hurt. Maybe even a top 10 pick. Who knows?
And he held out. His last year was the COVID year in college.
Yeah, he didn't play the COVID year, right.
So it had been 2 years since he had played any football.
Yeah.
And I remember Leon, when they drafted him, him talking about, like, back then, him talking about it, because it was the whole debate of when they drafted him of, like, do you make him the starter? Do you keep Cam around? Do you pay Cam? And when that whole conversation was, and Leon was like, man, he's like, playing offensive line is not like riding a bike.
Yep.
You don't just pay, like, it's going to take a while for him to get back up to speed.
Yep.
So, and to this day,
he's had his time. I mean, he should be up to speed. He should
100%.
be one of your starting tackles right now.
100%. What I'm saying is, like, at this point, I just don't think he's ever going to be the player that he was a prospect.
Pick to be, yeah. But again, you're right. There is value in being a swing tackle because you can count on him to plug in and give you solid play for a couple games. That's fine.
It's a bit like a little bit different because of where he was drafted, but it's a bit like Tyson Alualu.
Yeah.
When they drafted him. Tyson Alualu was a really good football player for the Jaguars.
Yeah, he was a really good player, though.
He was just not drafted. He was not what he was drafted to be. He was not a top 10 pick.
Right.
He was just a really solid defensive lineman.
Yeah.
Walker, I think, a little bit different because he was drafted a little bit later, is similar. He was drafted to eventually take over left tackle.
Without a doubt.
Now he still brings a lot of value, just not in the same way.
Yeah.
Which is fine, particularly the
you're
further
right.
away from the draft you get. And you said this before, just have good football players.
Right.
Just be good at football.
Right. Play the game the right way and get it done. So, look, again, at 17, I did hear where or read where Trent said, look, we'll know around pick 12, 13 which direction we're going to go. So that could be a smokescreen, too, to thinking they're not going to trade up. I mean, that's I guess the NFL mandates these things, but what do you want? They're not going to give you their strategy. Why would you want them to? You know, you don't want other teams knowing what you're doing. And here's the thing about offensive tackle, in my opinion. Mark, and that's not rocket science or uncovering a rock here, but before the 17th pick, there'll be a runoff on offensive tackles. There will be. It may be 3. It may be, you know what I mean, 2, 4, whatever. There will be a runoff. It'll start happening after, if all goes first or someone jumps him, who knows. But if he goes first, there'll be a couple that, don't have to jump right away. But you get past 10 doesn't need it. The Jets don't. You get to 11, 12. Now teams are going to be like, I got to get a tackle. I got to get one of these tackles. If Fawag is sitting there,
dude,
you got to take him. Yeah, I'll tell you why you got to take him. He can play tackle, he can play guard, and he's a big guy, very athletic. But you know what I hear most about him? He's nasty. He's got a nasty disposition out on the football field, and we need more of that. And if he can plug in and be our right tackle, or not, even if Cam comes back for a year, whatever. That's fine. If you need him to jump in at guard, if there's an injury, whatever, he can get some playing time. I would personally, if I go that route, I'm moving Anton over, I'm making him my right tackle, and I'm dealing Cam with some other team, most likely. That's what I would probably do.
Every analyst I've heard talk about Fuaga says best run blocker in the draft.
And very good pass blocker. And mean. We need more mean. I think Mitch Morse, Dale, who's a regular, thanks, Dale. He's like, Cam's our only guy with a mean streak. I think Morse has a mean streak, and I think he can ignite Sheriff back to that mean streak. I really do.
I think
Anton has it, and Ezra will just fall. You know what I mean? That's contagious. It'll all, And by the way, we know. Okay, we know this. Everybody knows this. The offensive line and defensive line are the glue to the team. They are the foundation of your team. They set the tone. They set the culture. They're the ones that are leading. They're the alpha males. Out of all the alpha males, they're on top of the food chain. For the most part, because they're bigger. They play a pretty physical position. They got a ton of respect if they're any good at what they do inside that locker room. So does everybody else. But the offensive line inside that really sets the tone. When you have a badass offensive line, it's like having a really tough big brother that is going to come and defend your ass when needed. And you know that feeling when he's coming because you're like, okay, now the game's changing. You may have the upper hand now. Guess what? Don't get my 2 brothers. You know what I mean? One's enough. You get 2 of them, next thing you know, now I'm like, what'd you say? Like, now you want to go? Why don't we go one-on-one now and we'll just let everybody, that kind of, you know what I mean? When you have an offense, we had it. Think about it. We had Baselli. We had Ben Coleman. We had Wydell. We had Searcy. And we either had Tilsky or DeMarco. Those guys were freaking animals. Absolute animals. And you knew every game walking onto that field that they were a bunch of tough sons of bitches that were going to set the tone and have your back. And that's powerful. And guess what happens then? Now your D-line's like, well, bump that. I'm just as tough. I'm setting the tone. I'm bringing my game. You know what I mean? And then it just spreads to the whole team, and that's how you have swagger. That's when you really have that swagger, when you know your offensive line can handle most, if not all, defensive lines in the National Football League, regardless of who you're playing. It's a very, very powerful thing to have. When you have a finesse offensive line, you got a finesse team. When you got to move them out of their way and kick their ass offensive line, that's the kind of team you have. That's why it's important. And I don't think you can run it back, whatever you want to call it, the way it is with just Cam, hoping that he stays healthy and that Walker's your swing without addressing that position. I don't see how it happens, especially when you're reportedly, allegedly going to pay your quarterback the highest paid quarterback in the league. Whatever. I'd be happy for the kid getting all that money, but you better protect his ass. Don't give me number one. You got to look, a franchise quarterback can make the current wide receivers great. Is that not fact? Can he not? A really good franchise quarterback makes everybody around him better. It's true. So you can get work done with who you have on the roster right now because your quarterback's that good.
There's this huge complaint.
Can I finish?
Oh, sorry.
But he can't make throws when he's under pressure. He can't make them in rhythm. He can't. Look, he lost confidence last year. He lost faith in you guys. He was getting killed. He was getting killed even in his good games. Even in his good throws, he was still taking the shot. That takes its toll. And after a while, you don't want to trust it anymore. And you do start looking at him. You do start panicking. You do start, man, I got to take off and run, or I got to force this throw, or I just got to get rid of the ball because I'm sick and tired of getting hit by these big sons of bitches that can fly and they're big and they land on me and it hurts. And it hurts. We think they're supermen, and they are to an extent, but those things hurt. Game after game after game. Go watch quarterback. Go watch what Kirk Cousins went through during that 1 year. Just go watch the rehab, not just at the team facility, on his own, to get over massive amounts of pain. And then you got to get your mind right for that next Sunday and forget about all the pain. Forget how you got the pain and go out there and perform at a high level. It's a extremely hard thing to do without that confidence my O-line can bring. Go ahead. Sorry.
There's one team.
Excuse me.
There's one team last year that had a bigger collapse than the Jaguars.
Mm-hmm.
Who was it? The Eagles.
Philly.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Their offensive line, who's been as badass as they come for
no doubt.
years.
Yep.
You could tell their offensive line that's older.
Yep.
Was running out of gas. They had some injuries. I think Lane Johnson was hurt.
He was
a lot of the year.
No, they were. They were not playing well after they had a great start.
Jason Kelce on the wrong side of his career in terms of aging some, and that offensive line lost some steam and wasn't quite as kick-ass as they had been. And look at how much they collapsed.
Yep.
All of a sudden, they weren't this big bad team that everybody was afraid of. They were getting pushed around.
Guess what other unit? Their D-line went south.
Yep.
And you're talking about some of the biggest human beings you've seen in your life. Fletcher Cox, Jordan Davis. Right, and who?
Son Reddick on that line.
Yeah, no, the other D lineman from Georgia they grabbed, Carter.
Oh yeah, Jalen
those
Carter,
three guys, like nobody should move them. You couldn't move them in the street. I'll tell you right now, take about 10 dudes and take on 2 of them. You know what I mean? That shouldn't happen. That should not happen.
But
big guys should not be thrown around.
A good offensive line and a good defensive line don't guarantee that you will be a good team.
Yeah.
But a bad offensive line and a bad defensive line guarantee you'll be a bad team, in my opinion.
I agree. No, I agree, and it sets the tone. So you got to have it, in my opinion. Interesting enough, and rightfully so. We're not talking. I don't know if anybody's locally talking running back at all. I know they had a running back in for a visit recently. I don't know if it was one of the 30, but they're checking him out from a smaller school, I believe. I mean, I don't know. I mean, Snoop Connor, right? I mean, Tank, maybe. I'm willing to see, you know.
They're going to give him another year.
He needs another. And by the
RB2.
way, his last game was his best game. He was. He ran pretty okay in that game against against the Titans. Yeah, he had a little shake. He did all right. I mean, compared to what the rest of the year was. You know what I mean? So I got to give him another year. So I'm not. I mean, maybe down the road. You know, I don't know. Do I get him a free agent running back? Sure, why not? But I'm not making that anywhere near. I do like the kid out of Florida State. I think Benson. I think he's going to be a heck of a pro.
I do too.
He can catch the ball. He can do some things in the passing game.
He's
got some great skill.
Benson reminds me of James Robinson a lot. Like really good, like between the tackles, but can't like not like ETN home run speed, but like will make plays outside if he needs to. Yeah, and just like
fast enough, good
vision. Like will turn what should be a 1 yard gain into a 4 yard gain type guy. Yep. Good hands.
Yeah, good hands.
Yeah. I like Benson a lot.
I think he's going to be good. As a
Gator, I was terrified of him.
Yeah, I bet. He's a threat in more than just one way. All right, let's get into Trevor's so-called maybe extension. Brought to you by Team Tommy Mac, just a great group of businesses that are there to help you when needed. You know, whether you get thrown in jail, whether you need a new restaurant, you need a place to stay, you need some flooring, you need some food, you need some goods. For the home, you need some education. We got it all, man. And now we've got Family Tradition Specialty Foods. Yeah, they reached out to me and said, hey, how do I get on Team Tommy Mac? We love what you stand for. We're a family that has recipes in hot sauces, in jerky, beef jerky. So they're sending a bunch of products to the house. I'm not a huge I like hot sauce. Don't get me wrong. My daughter and wife are massive hot sauce. My daughter puts on everything. I mean, pretty much anything. You can't give her leftovers to the dogs because they die. Is basically what would happen. It's like flaming hot.
On eggs?
Flaming hot.
Hot sauce on eggs?
Oh, yeah. Eggs, everything.
Did you see Anton Harrison's food take?
Yeah, no ketchup on eggs or something?
Or hot sauce.
Yeah. No hot sauce either? Yeah. Nah, I think hot sauce is pretty good. I eat a lot of eggs. I eat a lot of eggs. So I don't put ketchup on my eggs, though. I don't.
I do.
Do you?
And my fiance hates me.
Just scrambled, though, right?
Yeah.
Just
scrambled.
Yeah.
My fiance hates when I do it. She's like, it's so gross.
Yeah, no
her
doubt
dad
about
does it too. So the two of us will do it, and it pisses her off. We'll pretend we're doing it on hers, and she gets so mad.
She gets mad. Well, I do like eggs. Great source of protein, but great to have Family Tradition Specialty Foods on Team Tommy Mac. Also want to thank, of course, Chris Lucero's Bail Bonds, someone naming the bail game, J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling. Hey, they don't just take your junk away. They'll haul away all your construction debris as well. So all you contractors and roofing companies, construction companies, please take note. Graffiti Burger Bar, I'll find out today if Season 2 of the now called 904 Pro Show will be taking place at Graffiti Burger Bar in Jack's Peak. Regardless, brand new ownership, brand new management. They've cleaned it up. They got a great kids room. It's family friendly, awesome food, awesome menu, great TVs all over the place. Check it out right there on 3rd Street. Michael Nickus' State Farm, Home, Auto, Life, and Supplemental Health. He's been my agent for 20 years or more. He should be yours as well. Azar Sausage. You know, when Mom was away, guess what Dad did? I cooked sausage. Of course I did. What else am I going to eat when it was just me and my youngest? Threw in some chicken breasts, some andouille, Azar sausage. Unbelievable. Threw in a sweet potato along with it. Absolutely incredible. Get them at the Winn-Dixie near you. Carpet Man Flooring, not just LVP. Carpet, tile, hardwood, you name it. Highest quality at the lowest prices. Go check out their showrooms. One on St. John's Bluff Road near Atlantic and one on Wells Road, 1988 Wells Road. Solomon Ventures there on Art Museum Drive and Atlantic Boulevard, where you get home goods, indoor, outdoor, food, clothes, furniture, bikes, helmets, whatever. They have it all at less than wholesale prices. Jalaram Hotels, of course, my friend, the Patel family. They've got 13 hotels in the area, a handful here in Jacksonville, and a bunch down in St. Augustine. So whether you're local or you're visiting from out of town, go to jalaramhotels.com and find a spot in St. Aug, man. Great, great spot. JALARAM hotels.com. If you want to stay up at the beach near Atlantic Beach, then you got to check out Salt Air Inn and Suites Boutique Hotel. Beautifully upgraded, just a beautiful piece of property asset with concierge service. They take care of all the beaches as well. They'll get you the bikes, the surfboards, the paddleboards, all that good stuff, and you're 4 blocks from the beach. Code Ninjas with 4 great locations: World Golf Village, Bay Meadows, Ponte Vedra, and Fleming Island. We played out there. The band did, no doubt about that. Get your kid into coding camp, where coding is cool. Not only will be they indoors working on video games and creating their own, they're going to go outside and have some athletic activities as well. An all-around great camp. And I want to thank 1010XL and Adaptive Jacks, man. Thank you all for listening to Team Tommy Mac. I do love representing them. And it's not just here on the show. It's out in the street. It's wearing their swag, which I love, and just being a part of a great, great family. All right, Graham, sounds like Trevor's extension is forthcoming. I'm very happy for the young man to get paid whatever they're going to get paid. That's a great thing. Look, you can only play this game for so long, and you are one injury away from it being over. And it can happen anywhere. It can. Now, maybe not at his age, like stepping off a curb or, getting, playing pickup basketball and shredding a knee. You know what I mean? Anything can happen, especially on the field, especially in practice, weight room, game time, of course. So get that money. Get it. Get secured. Get as much as you can. They have it. The billionaire owners, they have it. They keep making more money. So go get what you can get, and it'll be good for Trevor. Now, I would, I want to see more. But I thought about this today, Graham. It's like, are owners under pressure to have that franchise QB?
Yes.
I think they are. You got to think like, come on, there's 32 alpha male and female. I think Denver's Boland's wife runs the show out in
the
Denver.
Titans.
And the Titans. Thank you. Alpha. I mean, they're running the show. They're going to control everything. It's their machine. And I guarantee 2 things: quarterback, new stadium. Those are things that the owners want from every other owner, right? That's how you win. That's how you win. We know this. So to pay your quarterback, who you believe his best football's ahead of him, because that's what they're paying him for. They're not paying for what he's done to date. We're saying, no, we believe this guy is our guy. He's our franchise quarterback. He's going to lead us to the Super Bowl. Without him, we're not going anywhere. He's it, period. You pay the man, right? And I get that. And I think there's some pressure from other owners that you got to find that guy. And you may swing and miss. Look at Deshaun Watson. I mean, think about that. How that deal ever got done, I have no idea. But that shows you the power of the NFL owners. They'll do whatever the hell they want to do. It's their rules. It's their league. They'll do whatever they want. So, and then, of course, the stadium. Everyone wants, all these billionaires, they want the new stadium. They want the added revenue. They all split it up other than the suites. That's what they want. And they're going to get it one way or the other. They're going to get both those things. So that's why I think, like, when you're in need of a QB, you'll take the highest risk of getting one in the draft. I mean, all these QBs moving up. I don't know. J.J. McCarthy, I've watched him a handful of times. Nice, good college quarterback. Is that going to translate? I don't know. Is he worth the gamble? I don't know. I've seen Jaden Daniels perform. I think his game translates. He's got it all, in my opinion.
Especially in today's game.
Especially in today's game, yeah.
Protected.
Yeah. And he's good with his arm. He's good with his legs. He's a smart guy. I think I'm not saying he's going to jump right off the bat and be a C.J. Stroud in his rookie year, but I think he can play the game. Drake May. I don't know. I know what you're thinking. It's going to be just another Josh Allen. No, his stats weren't great in North Carolina. Maybe a year ago they were. This last year they weren't. But what does he have? Potential, upside, big arm, right? Can whip it deep. We all want the big play. Yeah, I think that's pretty damn risky to take. But if you need a quarterback, what else are you going to do?
It is, but those guys always get drafted high.
I know. They get overdrafted. It's continuing to happen. And I do think this. Maybe that's why the league stopped with the high payments to the rookie, because they don't always, remember Sam Bradford was the last rookie to get a $50 million signing bonus or guaranteed money or whatever it was. He was the last. Then they dropped it down. And maybe it's because the NFL came together and said, look, We can't be paying these kids out of college this kind of money when they're not proven yet, because half, if not more, don't work out, and we're screwed. Okay, well, let's lower that. Now the total hit might be $25 million over 4 or 5 years. If you pick up the option, then it's more, the 5th-year option. But it gives you, so you can go, because what does it cost? Costs you time, no doubt. Costs you playoffs, no doubt. Costs you money, but the money's almost, it's not insignificant, but it's worth the risk. I mean, think about this. If I got to sign a rookie QB to what, $40 million bucks, including his 5th-year option, maybe 50, right? 5-year deal with the option being $20 million, and the rest, he gets a nice sign bonus. The rest is he's not killing the market.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's not that big of a hit when the cap goes up, when my revenues go up.
And it'll probably be more like a 6 or 7 year deal.
Yeah, okay.
Instead
fair,
of 5, yeah.
Fair. But you even look at Penix, the kid out of Washington. Listen, I saw him play against Oregon twice, so it's only a small size. But I watched both those games. They were great games to watch. They were really tight games. And he played outstanding. I mean, he's got a whip, that kid. He's moving up now. But he's still a risk. So my point is, like, I look, when you get that guy, because what was Trevor? Can't miss. Can't miss. Everybody would have taken him number 1. Can't miss generation. Just like Caleb. Caleb's now this generational guy. He's going number 1. There's no way nobody else going number 1 and whatnot. But if they don't work out, my hit's not that bad. If they do kind of work out, well, you know what? We're gonna go for it. Now that's a big risk, but I do think Trevor's best football's ahead of him. I do believe that.
I agree.
He's got to show it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not being like, yeah, it's a given, because it's not. He hasn't proven that it's a given. He's shown glimpses that it's a given. But I do think his best football's ahead of him. I do think they're going to play better on offense. I think it's going to be a better, more efficient style offense. I do think they're going to upgrade the O-line regardless of what they say. And guess what? If it's second round and that guy can play, I don't care. Great. You got to make sure that your quarterback is getting taken care of, and you're going to take care of him financially, which, look, again, I want to see more before they're talking about $315 million in guaranteed money, something like that, maybe. I mean, good for Trevor and his family, no doubt about it. But now that's a big risk.
That's how it has to be, though. I think there's not.
That's the market.
You basically have to reset the market with his deal.
Yeah.
Or let him walk. There's not like an in-between, kind of friendly compromise deal like that. That's not how it works.
Is it because there would be a little egg on the face because he was the first pick overall? Like, how is he not getting the maximum?
It's because
if you don't give him, let me ask you, if you don't give him the maximum, is the perception of, well, maybe you don't feel like he's that number 1 overall, you know what I mean? Like, maybe it's that or that or nothing. Is it?
I don't think it's a perception issue. I think it's the fact that there would be a market to pay him that much. Someone would pay him if the Jaguars didn't do it.
Without a doubt.
So because that is true, and Trevor knows that is true, all he would do is say, okay, I'll play out my contract until the option and the tag and all that's over, and then I'll just go take a big deal somewhere else.
Right, but that might be year 7.
It would be a long time from now, for sure.
As opposed to, all right, let him play on his contract. If he lights it up, we'll give him $400 million.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I would. I would be. I mean, whatever the market is, I'm throwing that number out. I don't know what the market would be, but if you're going to reset the market, I would. If he balls out, man, I'd do it in the middle of the year. I'd almost have it like ready to go. Like, hey, man, I just need to see a little bit more out of you. I got to trust that you're going to do everything in your power to be the best QB that you can be for this franchise. I got to know that.
I think the issue becomes, and probably why the front office is so willing to go ahead and just do it, because it seems like they are.
Yeah.
I think the issue becomes what the alternative is. If you don't rock with Trevor and extend him and he's my guy for years on end, you either have to reset everything with a rookie, or you have to play the average to slightly above average free agent QB game.
Right.
And I personally don't like either of those options.
No, I don't either.
And I think most people don't.
But do you have to pay him this year?
No, you don't. But if they think that a year from now, 2 years from now, what have you, I'm going to pay him anyway.
Yeah.
Then you are going to save money. Now, I think with Josh, it was a little bit different and a little bit harder to say they should have paid him early because as much as the fans and everything wanted him back, there was a world where like you could potentially let him walk.
Yeah.
I think with Trevor, it's different. I don't really think there's a world where the Jaguars are going to let him go elsewhere.
No.
So I think then the thinking is, okay, well, if I'm not letting him out of the building anyways, we may as well just get it done now and save the money.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that I'm not saying, I think you and I don't necessarily all the way 100% agree with that, but I think that's their thinking and reasoning.
And I get that. And look, at the end of the day, I mean, he's got to be your guy. He's got to be.
Has to be.
You picked him number one. I mean, he is good. He is a good player. There's no doubt about it. And I do think his best football is ahead of him, but it's got to work out, you know? And if, I don't know.
And not
good for Trevor, man. That'd be great for him to get that done.
Not that this necessarily matters in the equation, but just to provide some context and some just perspective. As much as some national media people have said Trevor's not been who he's supposed to be and blah, 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 as much as the criticism is there, anybody with a brain that covers football nationally, if the Jaguars moved on from Trevor in any time in the near future, they would all say, what the hell are the Jaguars doing?
Right.
They all would. Every last person. And they'd be right. Because again, like
they would be right. I agree.
The alternatives are like the alternatives are not great.
Okay. Look, take away half the drops. Now, the one thing people don't I think factor in on the drops. Where was the ball placed? Like easy catch? Like routine catch?
Not all of them, for sure.
Maybe been a tough catch. He's never going to get to that ball. You know what I mean? Like, where are those? You know what I'm saying? But just let's say you could cut the drops in half. We'd be like, you should have done it a month ago. Right? So, but the thing that like I said last Tuesday, the awareness, you know, the being able to read the field, see everything, and it does take time. We know this. He didn't have to do that stuff at Clemson. I mean, drop back guy was open. He whipped him the ball. It was like,
and they beat everybody by 35.
So he didn't have to really do that. So that's got to get better, right? No doubt about it. But and then, you know, look, even you could throw it the other way. You could say, well, what if Trevor was on target 50% more of the off-target throws? We probably wouldn't be talking, be like, no, right? So for me, as I just want to see consistency.
You're basically just saying if you were the GM and this was your decision that you had to make, you'd say, I need another year of ball to watch, basically.
That would be my recommendation to the organization.
Yeah.
Okay, because at the end of the day, and now you don't want to play this, but if you had to, you just said it. I'd keep him here for 7 years.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't want that. I want a good relationship, but I feel like I'm paying you too early if I pay you now. I want to see that you're ready to take this team to the Super Bowl. That's all. I want to see consistent play, consistent prep, consistent everything. Missed way too many practices, injuries. I get it, right? But if you're injured, I don't want to pay you that anyway.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you're not out there, I'm not paying you to sit around and look good. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You know, so I would be like, look, you're my guy. I want you to be my guy. It's all communication and how you present it, right? Trevor, we love you. Like, of course we love you. I just got to see more out of you. You show me more, you're going to get paid even more than you can. You're not going to know what to do with all the money.
But I think from what I gather from kind of what you're saying too, if they do get this deal done, you're not going to be like, you morons, you idiot. Like,
no, I'll be like, good for Trevor.
Right. Well, yeah,
and I hope it works out, because I'm not one to sit here and say just because he gets paid means all of a sudden the game becomes, upper echelon of the NFL.
Yeah.
And you can't say it was last year. It wasn't.
No, it wasn't. And to your main point about the awareness thing, which is one of the biggest critiques of Trevor, I think, for everybody.
Yeah.
And back to the Clemson thing, dude, Clemson beat almost every team they played by 30.
Right.
There was the late half clock management debacle against the Ravens, stuff like that.
Yep.
didn't matter as much at Clemson because we're winning by 28.
Right.
Or
Or
whatever.
seeing that back safety. It's tough. It's not easy, man, especially when you got people all around you hitting you and pressuring you and all that. So, look.
And just say, like, what if they do add another lineman in the draft that can run block really? I don't know if it's Fuaga or someone else.
Yep.
And you got Morrison there who helps. Yep. Let's just say their running game is substantially better.
Yep.
Okay. And they're protecting him a bit better.
Yep.
If those two things, facts are true, I have no doubts that the passing game will be humming.
Look, go back to
really good.
Go back to 2022. That's what you just described.
100%.
I mean, 5.1 yards per carry for ETN.
Yep.
I think they were 4.6 overall as a team or as an offensive unit.
Without a, quote, wide receiver one, by the way.
That's what I'm saying. And Trevor had a great year. He really did. I mean, he had a stretch of 8 or 9 games that he was really good at. I mean, not 400 yards, 4 touchdowns, but efficient, good scoring. We know the run they went on. So I personally think they add speed, fine. That's great. Add another weapon. But to me, you've got enough weapons right now, and he's supposed to make them better. And if you give him enough time, I think he will. But you got to give him time. That kid cannot get beat up like he did last year. And for years to come, especially if he's going to be your $100 million plus or $300 million guy. All right? That's my 2 cents. All right, y'all have a great weekend out there. We got to go. I'm jumping into Jaguars today from 10 to 12, and then I'm joining Helmets and Heels for an hour. How about that? Yeah, the ladies asked me to join them for an hour, so I'm going to do that. So stay tuned at 92.5 FM or at 1010XL.com on your on the web if you so choose, or if you have the app, just listen to the show. Thanks to Team Tommy Mac. Thanks to Grammage. Thanks to all of you checking it out. Really, really appreciate it. And peace and love. Have a great weekend. Until next time, stay safe and be cool out there. And we'll see you right here on Catching Up with Tommy Mac. Peace.